We're back on the Sports Zone. I am Mike Aglialoro. Once again, thanks to everyone who subscribed to the YouTube channel Mike Ags 121. Don't forget to subscribe under the video if you haven't done so, and check us out on thisissportszone.com for more. So we've gone 13-13 through the first 3 weeks on the Sit 'em Down segment here on the Sports Zone. And as we move to week 4, we look to get over the 500 hump for the first time this season. We'll start with the quarterbacks. Like we did in the Start 'em Up segment, we'll look at a rookie quarterback to start off with because I don't like Blake Bortles' matchup going on the road, his first career start against the San Diego Chargers. And he's priced at $6,500 on FanDuel.com, which is insanely high when you consider that Teddy Bridgewater, who has the better matchup, is priced at $5,900. So you pass on him against the San Diego defense that has looked incredibly well over the last couple of weeks, at home against the Seahawks in week 2, and on the road last week against the Buffalo Bills. So you want to pass on him. And at quarterback, you also want to pass on Nick Foles at $8,800. Obviously, he's had a big start to the season with the huge week last week, throwing 3 touchdowns against the Washington Redskins. But I hate the matchup on the road against the, for lack of a better word, pissed off San Francisco 49ers. They are 1-2, and the last 2 weeks they got embarrassed by the Chicago Bears at home, and they lost a close game against the Arizona Cardinals on the road. So coming back home to San Francisco in their new ballpark, I just really don't like the situation. And at $8,800 on FanDuel, you can do a lot better for that money. Moving on to the running backs, and we're going to talk about the Monday night game, Chiefs and the New England Patriots. Jamal Charles is going to practice this week, and as a result, you won't know who's starting until game time Monday night. And because this is a Monday night game, and you're probably not going to own Jamal Charles, Niall Davis, Stephen Ridley, and Shane Vereen, I would bench both Jamal Charles and Niall Davis this week. They're both priced respectively $8,300 for Charles and $7,800 for Niall. I don't like either of those prices when you consider the fact that by the time Monday night comes, everybody else will have played and you'll have no replacements depending on who starts and who's coming off the bench in the second chair. Stay away from that situation this week, especially on FanDuel when you could choose from every player on the board. Don't bother with those two. Moving on to the wide receivers, we're going to look at a couple rookies this week because the rookies have been in the news the last couple weeks. You want to pass on Jordan Matthews of the Philadelphia Eagles and Sammy Watkins of the Buffalo Bills. Watkins had the big week 2. He had a dud last week. And at $6,400 at the Houston Texans defense that has looked very good over the last 3 weeks, you don't want any part of him this week. Ditto with Matthews, who had his breakout performance last week, in which was a high-scoring affair on both sides. And going in to San Francisco against the 49ers defense, it's not going to be that game this week, folks. And at $6,600, it's absolutely ridiculous that he's priced that high. He should still be in the 5,000s. So pass on both those two. And at the higher price of $6,700, you want to go with Andrew Johnson of the Houston Texans. Now, he's got the Buffalo Bills defense, but if you look at the allotment of fantasy points between him and DeAndre Hopkins, he only had 4.4 fantasy points last week if you were in PPR leagues, whereas Hopkins had 6 receptions for over 110 passing yards. The offense is shifting towards Hopkins. Andre Johnson is at the beginning of the end of his career, and it's sad because I always liked Andre Johnson. But at $6,700 this week, you pass on him. At tight end, a guy I hyped up pretty big a couple weeks ago, Zach Ertz, also of the Philadelphia Eagles. Again, going against the San Francisco 49ers, even at $5,600. You don't want any part of Ertz this week. He's got a bright future ahead of him, and you still want to see if you could buy low on him if you're in a keeper league. But for this week, you want to pass on him against that 49ers defense. So to recap, folks, at quarterback, you want to stay away from Blake Bortles of the Jaguars and Nick Foles of the Philadelphia Eagles. At running back, you stay away from Jamal Charles and Niall Davis of the Kansas City Chiefs due to the Monday night start time. At wide receiver, you want to stay away from Jordan Matthews, Sammy Watkins, and Andre Johnson. And at tight end, you don't want any part of Zach Ertz of the Eagles. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter at WeAreSportsZone. Send us any questions and comments you may have. Once again, thanks to everyone who subscribed to the YouTube channel Mike Ags 121. Make sure you check out ThisIsSportsZone.com. Subscribe to the Mike Ags 121 YouTube page if you haven't done so. Thanks for watching, folks. For This Is Sports Zone, I am Mike Aglialoro. We will see you next time, folks.